Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to do a case. I've been doing some sorting in my craft room and going through my swaps because we're just about to go to another on stage in April where I'm going to go lots and lots of swaps. So I needed to sort of do a little bit of a sort out and a little bit of a clear out. So I've kept swaps that I really liked and thought I might case, and this one is the first one I'm going to do. Now I am going to look up who it was because obviously I've sort of emptied them all of the goodies, and some of them you get in little cello bags with the details of who it was, and so I haven't got the details of who made these, so I will look it up and let you know who it was, and the details will be on my blog. But I just thought this was just such a gorgeous, cute, looked like it might have been quite simple to put together, which is what I look for when I'm making swaps. I want to make sure that that they look cute, that they will go together quite easily and use not too much product, you know, and you're looking for ideas for customer gifts, and so I'm always looking to make something that this is what we use in the UK, and this is the large letter. So this is normal post, and that goes in a normal stamp, and this is large letter, which is fractionally more expensive. Anything bigger than this and it's lots more expensive, so I try to keep my customer thank yous to be able to fit in this sort of section here. So this is perfect for that. So I really like this paper as well, which is probably why it attracted me. Okay, so what I'm going to do to sort of work out how it was made is to deconstruct it, and I want to sort of deconstruct it without destroying it too much, and so I am just going along here, pulling it apart a little bit. There, that wasn't too bad. I also would quite like to be able to put it back together again because it's so cute. And on there, take it down there. There we go, and then that's the last seam here. And so that's it. So now I can work out, I've got this grid mat on centimetres. Turn it over to the slightly muckier side. It's my last sheet. You'll have seen me probably say this is my last sheet on another video. Right, so fabulous. It's 6 inches, which is really good because this is a 12 by 12 piece of DSP. So the fact that that is 6 inches, I know you could get 2 out that way, and it is 4.5 inches that way, so you wouldn't be able to get 3, but you'd be able to get 4 of these out of a piece of 12 by 12, so that's pretty good. It would have been better if it was 4 inches. I might try and revise this a little bit so we could get it down to 4 inches, because if it was 4 inches, of course you'd then get 6 out of a piece of 12 by 12, which would be better. But let's do it for this. So we are looking at 6 by 4.5, so we want a piece that's 6 by 4.5, and then it is scored there at 1 1/4. Oh, it's scored there first, isn't it? So it's scored at half, and then it's scored at 1 1/4, and then it scored there at 3 1/4, and then it scored there at 4, and that's it. So that's the score lines that way, and then the score lines this way, it is scored at 3/4. So that's the long, oops, long, don't want to get confused, that's the long and that's the short, and so it's scored at 3/4 and at 3. And that's it. So I am going to cut a piece, do the scoring, and then do the cutting. Okay, so I'll get that. So that is basically my pattern, and I'll come back to you. So I like to do my prototypes first where possible. I use up my retired a paper for that. So here we have our 6 by 4.5 piece there. So on the long side we are scoring at 1/2, at 1 1/4, at 3 1/4, and at 4. And then on the short side we're scoring at 3/4 and at 3. And so I am just going to fold and burnish all of those. This DSP is not as thick as the other, but I think it will work. So that's that. So I have of course done this the opposite way around, but that's okay, we'll do it like that. So that's the top flap, that's the bottom flap, so it looks like we're cutting off all of this. So let me get my big scissors to cut that off. Got it in my crafty tote because I went to a class yesterday. Right, so we're going to take that bit off there and we're going to slice this bit off. You could of course use your trimmer if you wanted to, but with long scissors that's pretty alright. And then we are cutting off this little rectangle here. I don't think I burnished that. So we'll take that little rectangle there off. They don't seem to have notched. And then we're just cutting up all of these. Have they notched? Oh, they have notched. So then we'll just do some little notching on these smaller tabs, not the bigger rectangles. And then that is corner rounded. So let me get my corner rounder. And then we have got to stick these two sides together. So we'll put some glue down there. Let me find my fast fuse for quick. Move these out of the way so you can see better. So we are sticking that down. So they did it. Yep, so we've got the seam at the back, and they've done a little pinching of the side, but they're sticking those two down. So sticking those two down, and that one is to go to the back. So a little bit. Fast fuse on that. Like so. And then they just pinch the corners in a little bit at the top to give that nice little fold over. So that is how that little box is made. And then it's just decorated however you want it. How cute. And then that you could put a little goodie in that. I've got some little, there they are. So I've got a few of these little chocolates left over, so you could put a couple of chocolates in there as a little treat. And that's it done. You could of course put a bit of jewellery in there. It might fit a tea light. I've got some tea lights handy. I have. Will it fit a tea light? Yeah. It won't fold over quite so much with that, because it is that width. We do have some tea lights that are shower. Those are the Yankee Candle tea lights. I have some, there we go. So I have some not quite so thick tea lights, and you can put that in and that will fold over quite nicely. Okay, so that's it done. So I'm going to make one of these in some currant papers and decorate it. Okay, so I finished that off, did a little bit of decoration on there, and I've done a little magnetic closure, so I think that's really cute. So now I'm going to do it in some currant paper. I'm using the free papers, the Botanical Butterflies, free with celebration, and I'm going to adjust the measurements. So I'm going to make it 6x4 so that you could get 6 out of a sheet, and I'm going to see how that turns out. So we're going to stick, it's the same score lines, you're just going to have a smaller flap here by ½ inch. Okay, so let's have a little look, see what that's going to look like. So we're scoring same as before, ½ inch, 1 1/4, 3 1/4, and 4, and then 3/4 and 3. And all these measurements will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. So I will speed this bit up because you have seen me do it before. So that's the bit that we got to before. So now about decorating. So I'm using the 1 1/8 scallop punch and the 1 inch scallop punch. And I've got some Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, which are the two colours in that. So I'm going to do the scalloped circle in the darker in the Gorgeous Grape, and then I'm going to do the inch in Highland Heather. Can I get that out of there? No. And those two can get layered up on here. And what I did on the inside was I put another disc on the inside to make it look neater, but on the other side it's black, so I'm going to get some basic black to do the disc on the inside. So we are first of all going to put our magnets. So I'm going to take a magnet and a glue dot and stick that in place on here in the middle, so that it knows where it's going. Then we take another magnet so that we know where that's going. I'm going to take a little pencil and go underneath there to make a mark, because what I did on the inside was I put a little flower, and the magnet is the centre of the flower, and I just thought that was quite a nice way of covering it up. So we want a little flower there, so I'm going to do it using our little itty bitty flower punches. So I'm going to cut one out of Gorgeous Grape, and I shall stick that over there like so, because I think that looks quite pretty. So we're going to stick that down with my Tombow over where that blob is. Just hold that in place. Oh. I hope I haven't moved that now. I have. It needs to go up. I've totally moved that around so that it will now no longer be in the middle. Right, let's peel this off and hope that's not caused irreparable damage, which it has. Right, okay, we'll do a little disc with, I've got my little 1/2 inch circle punch. I thought it was to the side here. Might use my 3/4 one. There are no mistakes in crafting, there's just time to get creative. So we can stick that disc there and we'll put the flower on top. Yep, that will work. And we'll put a little flower, so we'll cut a flower out of Highland Heather to go on top. And hopefully that's the middle of the flower now. So where did I put my magnet? glue dot. This is the way I did it on the other one. I did actually. Oh, there's two of them there. I actually did that. Put a bit of glue on the back of the flower. Prised up the magnet. Stuck the flower where that had just come from. And put the magnet on top. So we got there the end. So that's my idea. So it looks quite pretty. So it just looks like the centre of the flower. Okay, and then that will cover it over. So just sticking that down. Putting the black disc on the back. And then I'm going to use the small butterfly punch, which you probably can't buy at the moment, but it is going to be carried over to the next catalogue, so that's good. You will be able to get it very soon. And then I'm just going to shape the butterfly with my bone folder. So it looks like it's flying a bit. I used pearls for the body on my prototype, but this one I'm going to use the sequins, self-adhesive sequins, just so we keep with this lovely purple and lilac theme. And I've got my sequins to the side here. And I think one will probably be enough. And that's it. That's my cute little take on this lovely swap. So I did look back on a swaps video, and it was a Pootler's retreat that we went on last September, and this was Chrissy Wilson, fellow Pootler. Thank you, Chrissy, absolutely love it. And so yeah, so there is the same dimensions, and then there's my last one where I've made it with a slightly smaller flap. so that you can get 6 out of a 12 by 12 sheet instead of 4 if you use those dimensions. You will have stuff left over if you use that. Okay, hope you like it. All the details will be on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.